The film begins with a ninja family called the Tawaras. There's the mom and dad, Yoko and Soichi, and their kids are Gaku, Haru, and Nagi. They're on a mission to stop another group of ninjas called the Fuma clan. At that time, the Tawara family gets into a big fight with the Fuma ninjas to protect someone named Mukai, who's running for governor. One night, Haru faces a Fuma ninja named Yosuke. There, Yosuke begs Haru not to hurt him. Feeling bad, Haru, who's never killed anyone before, only hurts Yosuke a little bit. Meanwhile, Gaku is on a ship fighting some Fuma ninjas. But suddenly, Yosuke stabs Gaku, and he falls into the sea and dies. 6 years later, Haru and his friend Nozaki have a job delivering drinks to vending machines around town. Haru's ninja skills help him finish the job super fast, which confuses Nozaki. Meanwhile, Nagi sneaks into a museum wearing her ninja gear to steal some old stuff, but she plans to return it all within 3 days. Later, Haru finishes work and goes to a shop for dinner, like usual. There, he sees Karen Ito, a journalist who often comes to the shop. They've bumped into each other before, so Karen tries to get to know Haru better. At that time, Haru wants to ask her out, but he gets a call about a case of people getting sick on a cruise ship. It seems like Jin Hamashima and his assistant, Masamitsu Oki from the Bureau of Ninja Management, know that Karen is getting close to Haru. They're the ones who give missions to the Tawara family and make sure ninjas follow the rules. The next day, when Haru came back home, he found his little brother Riku and his grandma Taki in the yard then. Their mom Yoko called them to come eat together. Riku was surprised to see Taki already inside the house because just a moment ago she was outside. Turns out, Riku is the only one in the family who doesn't know they're ninjas. Meanwhile, Yoko lit a candle in front of a photo of their late son Gaku. She's still struggling to accept that he's gone. When the news showed the museum theft, Nagi smiled. Then, when Soichi came home, he turned off the TV and asked Haru to come work at the factory, hoping he'd take over the business. Soon after, Nagi got a call from a friend to go to the museum, while Haru decided to go to bed. On another day, Yoko showed off her ninja skill by hopping onto the roof to fix a leak. At the same time, Soichi shooed away a pigeon carrying a letter without even reading it. When Soichi found out what Yoko did, he scolded her. He reminded her not to use ninja moves to fix the roof because he worried it might reveal their secret. Since Gaku died, they've been trying to live like a normal family without relying on their ninja skills. Meanwhile, Haru had a scary dream about a mysterious masked person. He woke up feeling frightened. The next day, Soichi went to his sake factory and found out it's in trouble. One worker even suggested they should get government help to keep the business going. Not long after, Jin and Oki, who had previously sent a message with a pigeon, came to see Soichi. They asked the Tawara family to start being ninjas again, but Soichi refused because he wanted to live a normal life, especially now that the Fuma ninja clan was gone. Jin then brought up Soichi's sake factory troubles and Gaku's death. Soichi got angry and threatened Jin if he mentioned Gaku's name again. At the museum, Nagi and her friend Yotani checked out antiques. Yotani confessed his feelings for Nagi, but she turned him down because ninjas aren't supposed to date or eat meat. Meanwhile, Yoko used her ninja skills to steal things from the mini-market and hid them at home. That night, a guy named Tokio found a woman named Ayam, who dropped her wallet at the station and tried to give it back to her. Ayam, who worked for the boss of the Fuma clan, told Tokio that he passed their test. While everyone else was busy, Nagi sneaked back into the museum to steal something she had her eye on earlier. The police handling the case were frustrated because the thief kept returning the stolen stuff after a few days. After pulling off the heist, Nagi snuck back home through the window, just like Gaku taught her. Then, she went online to buy a new ninja rope because hers was almost broken. Nagi also took pictures of the stolen stuff and posted them on social media. Meanwhile, Haru was working with Nozak, filling vending machines with canned drinks. Then, Nozaki asked Haru why he didn't want to continue the family's sake business, which had been around for ages. But Haru didn't seem interested. As Haru finished work and was about to get into his car, he was startled by the masked figure from his dream, who suddenly threw a used plastic can at him. After what happened, Haru was still thinking about it when Karen approached him. She wanted to exchange contacts and hang out sometime. Haru was happy because he wanted to get closer to Karen. But shortly after she left, Jin came up to him. Jin warned Haru about ninja rules, no dating or eating meat. There, Jean said he could introduce Haru to a nice girl if he was feeling lonely. He didn't want Haru to have contact with Karen because she was a journalist. Jean was worried that if people found out Haru was a ninja, it could be dangerous. The next morning, they had breakfast together. Soichi wanted Haru to take over the family's sake factory right away, but Haru didn't want to. The sake business was failing, and just a front to hide their ninja identity. Haru remembered when his older brother was killed by Yosuke, who they hadn't finished fighting with. Now, even though Jean warned Haru not to hang out with Karen, Haru didn't take the warning too seriously. He still accepted her invitation to go out together. He even secretly watched Karen from afar until she messaged him saying she couldn't meet that day. Meanwhile, at the mini-market, Yoko used her ninja skills to steal again, but Jean caught her in the act and gave her a stern warning. He also offered her a ninja job with good pay, which Yoko accepted because her family was struggling financially, and she needed money for her house and her children's education. Later that night, Nagi, who was training in her room, received a message from a mysterious person with a message similar to what Gaku had said before. Nagi wondered who was sending her these messages. Meanwhile, Haru continued to secretly follow Karen into a club hosting a Halloween event. At the party, a man received an assignment from the Fuma clan to kill Karen, who was investigating a poisoning case on a cruise ship. At the club, Karen met someone who said a survivor from the cruise ship incident might be the suspect. But because the music was too loud, Karen couldn't hear well. Then, a man sent by the Fuma ninja clan appeared and killed the person talking to Karen. When the masked man tried to attack Karen, Haru stepped in to stop him. Soon after, they fought, but Haru chose not to kill him, only injuring his arm. Then, as Karen tried to take a photo of Haru's heroic act, he accidentally threw a drink can and damaged her phone screen. Meanwhile, other clubgoers discovered a dead body and panicked, rushing out. It turned out someone tied a white cloth around the attacker's arm and stabbed him to death. The next day, Riku and his friends went sightseeing and watched ninjas from the Fuma and Hattori clans demonstrate their skills. In the evening, Yoko told Soichi and the others that she wanted to work because their family needed more money. Riku talked about how impressive the ninjas were, especially the Fuma clan, not knowing they were enemies of his family. Meanwhile, Haru slept in the car driven by Nozaki, but woke up scared from a dream about Gaku blaming him for his death. When Haru got home from work, he met Karen at their usual shop. She told him about what happened at the nightclub, but Haru pretended not to know to keep his secrets from her. Another day, Jean was at the Cultural Services office with the Ku-Ze cleaning team, who cleaned up crime scenes to keep the ninjas' identities hidden. Soon after, Oki showed a video of cruise ship passengers' deaths he hacked from the police database. Then, they received a call about incidents at nightclubs and cruise ships, so Jean assigned Haru and Yoko to investigate. To complete her mission, Yoko pretended to be a new office worker at a cruise ship company to gather information on passengers who died from poisoning. Sadly, the documents had been shredded, so she couldn't find any useful info. Meanwhile, Nagi confided in Yotani about feeling like someone was following her. At the sake factory office, Soichi welcomed a new sales manager, Mori Mayuko, who would help boost their sake business. Soon after, Haru met with Karen, who was still investigating the poisoning case. She suggested they visit a journalist's apartment for more clues. When they got there, they found the door locked. Haru used his ninja skills to open it secretly. Inside, they were startled by an unknown man. They hid in a cupboard. The man ended up killing the journalist's wife, who was investigating the cruise ship case. At that moment, Karen recognized him as the same man from the club with a scar on his arm. Back at home, Riko started asking Taki about Gaku, but their conversation was interrupted by an old woman who communicated with Taki using sign language that Riku couldn't understand. Meanwhile, Haru reported to Jin about the woman killed by the nightclub attacker. Jin then asked Yoko for her investigation report, but she couldn't provide it because the cruise ship documents were destroyed. Nagi started getting suspected by the police for thefts at the museum. Later, Yoko overheard a conversation at the cruise ship office where a staff member contacted Matsuura, suspected of knowing about the poisoning incident. Karen told Haru about the Jintenkai cult led by Yosuke, which she believed was linked to the cruise ship case. She invited him to an event held by the cult. Karen also shared her backstory with Haru. She lost her parents in a hotel fire when she was 3. Her father, a journalist, had investigated a cruise ship incident before dying in the fire. This motivated Karen to continue her father's investigation. Back at the office, Yoko was asked to make coffee by a colleague working late, but suddenly a mysterious man showed up and killed the colleague. Yoko acted fast, turning off the lights and fighting the man in the dark. Sadly, she lost him when he escaped through the window. Meanwhile, Nagi was returning museum items when she encountered a ninja who looked like Gaku. The ninja even threw Gaku's kunai, leaving Nagi puzzled about who was behind the mask. The ninja took the items she was returning. Jean assigned tasks at the office. Oki would collect cruise ship documents, and Yoko would investigate Matsuura. Later, Nagi decided to go home via the roof, unknowingly spotted by Riku from his window. Meanwhile, Haru and Karen attended a Gentenkai cult event to investigate its leader. Back home, Nagi remembered Gaku's kunai skills, feeling confused about the ninja who copied them. Amidst the chaos, Riku suddenly barged into Nagi's room, asking her to teach him some ninja moves. Nagi was surprised and told him to leave right away. Shortly after, she got a message from the mysterious ninja, saying he'd return the museum items if Nagi traded them for a scroll from the Tawara family. Another day, Karen and Haru watched a strange Gentenkai cult program. Karen wondered why so many people believed in it. Unbeknownst to Karen, Jean kept an eye on them by pretending to be a shop customer. Meanwhile, at home, Soichi revealed his plan to Yoko and Taki to take a family photo for marketing his sake products. Back to Haru, he informed Jean about yellow flowers in Yosuke's room. Jean ordered Haru to sneak into Yosuke's room and take the yellow flowers. Meanwhile, Yoko was tasked with pretending to be a woman going on a blind date with Matsuura. Using her cleverness, she managed to gather some information about the head of the cruise ship company. On the other hand, Soichi was busy with sake production after Mori told him about French tourists interested in the Tawara family's sake. They seemed to be growing closer as they handled factory matters together. Soon after, Haru began his mission by infiltrating the Gentenkai cult building, while Nagi, in a lecture room, received a message from the mysterious ninja asking her to swap the museum items for the Tawara family scrolls. Shortly after, 2 police officers questioned Yotani about the missing museum items, worrying Nagi because they were still with the mysterious ninja. Besides Yotani, the police also questioned Riku for information about Nagi, who he said came home at 11 p.m. through the roof. At the Gentenkai cult building, Haru caught Karen trying to continue her investigation. They decided to use the killer from the other day to get into Yosuke's room. After some digging, they found out the killer was Sawabe, a cop. At that time, Haru sent him evidence of the murder in exchange for yellow flowers from Yosuke's room. Later, at a restaurant, Karen, sensing Haru hiding things, asked him to be more open. Haru admitted he couldn't tell her everything to keep her safe. At home, he reflected on his conversation with Karen and regretted not killing the Fuma ninja who killed Gaku. The next day, Nagi secretly searched for a family scroll until she found it above her room's ceiling. Meanwhile, Haru and Karen met Sawabe, a member of the Gentenkai cult, who guided them to Yosuke. There, Yosuke revealed he could read Karen's past, making her even more confused about him. Shortly after, Yosuke instructed his followers to give Haru a sword and ordered him to kill Sawabe, who was tied up. However, Haru chose to untie Sawabe instead of killing him, showing Yosuke that he hadn't changed since the incident 6 years ago. Yosuke, understanding Haru's intentions, finally gave the yellow flower to Karen, who then left the room. Yosuke revealed to Haru that he was a member of the Fuma clan, whom Haru should have killed 6 years ago. Thanks to Haru's actions, Yosuke survived and became the leader of the Gentenkai cult, as well as the 19th successor of the Fuma clan. Meanwhile, Sawabe was shocked to find his family members dead at home. Karen asked Haru why he wanted the yellow flower, but he remained silent to protect his ninja identity. Yoko, on the other hand, continued to try to charm Matsuura by praising him, hoping to learn important information about the cruise ship poisoning. Matsuura, who seemed to have feelings for Yoko, expressed his affection but abruptly left after receiving a call from his boss. At Karen's house, she opened up to Haru about her past. She revealed that her father knew state secrets, and she wanted to investigate his death to uncover these secrets. While showing Haru the results of her investigations, she hinted that she suspected his family's involvement in the rescue of a governor candidate by ninjas. Seeing this, Haru felt let down by Karen, thinking she only approached him for her investigation. When Karen asked about his true identity, Haru chose not to explain. Meanwhile, Oki successfully compiled documents containing a list of cruise ship passengers. At the same time, Jin received a call from Soichi, who was upset because Jin had given a mission to his family without his knowledge. Jin explained that Soichi was the only one who wanted a normal life, while the rest of the Tawara family couldn't let go of their ninja lives. Jin also invited Soichi to return to being a ninja, but Soichi insisted on living a normal life. Meanwhile, Nagi was getting ready to meet a mysterious ninja who she believed was her older brother to give him the scroll she found. Unbeknownst to her, a police officer handling the museum collection disappearance case was secretly following her. On the other hand, Jin met Haru to inform him that Yosuke, the leader of the Fuma ninja clan, had reappeared. Karen was busy preparing evidence in the form of yellow flowers to hand over to her superior. Back to Nagi, she arrived at a cafe and noticed the police tailing her. Quickly, Nagi tricked them and lost them by rushing onto a bus. Another policeman named Taguchi then began following the bus Nagi was on. Meanwhile, Yoko continued her mission to follow Matsuura. Unfortunately, her phone battery died just as she tried to message Oki about her progress. Oki struggled to reach her, even though he wanted to inform Yoko that all evidence pointed to Matsuura being the one who poisoned the cruise ship passengers. After losing contact with Yoko, Oki asked his colleague to track her down by checking the vegetables she accidentally left on the road. Jin also tried calling Soichi to help Yoko, who might be with the cruise ship murderer, but Soichi didn't answer. Undeterred, Jin used a pigeon to send a message to Soichi. At the news agency, Karen met her boss to provide evidence about the Jintenkai cult in the form of yellow flowers she collected. But all the evidence suddenly disappeared, replaced by an empty bottle. Meanwhile, at Jin's place, the cleaning team examined Yosuke's yellow flower, the symbol of the Jintenkai cult. At the same time, Haru was seen burning all of Karen's articles and resetting her computer to erase any evidence that could reveal his family's ninja identity. Back to Yoko, she stopped to draw a symbol on a wall with lipstick, hoping to signal Oki for help. Then she disguised herself like a ninja and armed herself before continuing to follow Matsuura. That night, when Soichi got home, he made sure Riku was asleep before planning to have a drink with Taki. But Taki reminded him that as a ninja, he shouldn't drink alcohol. Meanwhile, Nagi arrived at a factory and put on a ninja face mask to meet a mysterious ninja. After exchanging items, she took off her mask, hoping it was her brother Gaku. But it turned out to be Ayam, a member of the Fuma clan, leading to a fight between them. At the same time, Yoko followed Matsuura to the factory and saw Nagi fighting the Fuma clan members. Matsuura, unaware that Yoko was a ninja, joined the fight to protect Nagi, who had passed out. Yoko created a fire barrier using gasoline in a drum to shield them. Meanwhile, Taguchi watched the ninja battle from behind another drum. At his house, Soichi was having trouble drinking sake when he got a surprising message from Jin delivered by a pigeon. The message said that the Fuma clan and the Tawara family were fighting. So Soichi quickly put on his ninja clothes and rushed to help at the factory where his family was battling. When Soichi arrived at the factory, he found Yoko in trouble. Luckily, he got there just in time to defeat all the members of the Fuma clan. After the fight, Taguchi tried to run away but was caught by Oki and his team, who drugged him and took him away. Meanwhile, Yosuke cleaned up the place where the Jintenkai cult usually meets, and Karen was waiting for the subway when an old woman accidentally pushed her towards the tracks, almost causing her to fall. Thankfully, Haru came to Karen's rescue when she was in trouble. She was worried about her missing articles and some evidence about yellow flowers she was supposed to give to her boss. But there, Haru didn't explain everything but warned Karen that she was being targeted by a dangerous group and should leave town immediately. Meanwhile, Soichi, Yoko, and Nagi were heading home when they were suddenly stopped by members of the Fuma clan in a tunnel. The Fuma clan member delivered a confusing message and told them to ask Haru for answers. At the Tawara family's house, Riku secretly showed Taki a hidden room with weapons and ninja items. Shortly after, Soichi and the others returned home to find Haru bringing Karen with him. Haru explained that he had to help Karen because she was being hunted by the Fuma ninja clan. During their discussion, Jin and Oki arrived. Karen had to hide under the table as they talked about the Jintenkai cult, which was actually a front for the Fuma clan. Oki mentioned that the yellow flowers contained a poisonous substance that could harm the nervous system. In another room, Taki tells Riku that their family is part of the Hattori ninja clan, sworn enemies of the Fuma clan. They use the name Tawara to keep their true identity hidden from enemies. Meanwhile, Yosuke is in the forest after finishing a ceremony. He hands out teacups, some of which contain poison from yellow flowers. There, Yosuke explains that those who didn't drink the poison are considered chosen to join the Fuma clan. Back at the Tawara family, after hearing Oki and Haru's explanation, they figure out that Yosuke, the 19th leader of the Fuma clan, was behind the poisoning incident on the cruise ship. Soichi asks Haru about a message from the Fuma clan expressing gratitude for rescuing Tawara family members 6 years ago. Haru explains that during a mission 6 years ago, he spared Yosuke's life, but Yosuke ended up killing Gaku. Recently, Riku found out the secret of his family and got upset with Soichi and Yoko for never teaching him ninja skills. Soichi and Yoko tried to explain that being a ninja isn't simple, but Riku insisted on learning. Finally, Soichi agreed to teach him. Meanwhile, Taki met Nagi to ask about a scroll Nagi had taken secretly. Nagi admitted it and explained why she did it. Yosuke was frustrated to find out the scroll was fake. Sawabe wanted revenge on the Fuma clan for killing his family, but his plan failed. The next day, Taguchi, who was once captured by the Bureau of Ninja Management, was found naked outside the museum with stolen artifacts. Police discovered more stolen items at his house and arrested him. As night fell, Karen had to stay at the Tawara family's house for a bit. She went to Haru's room to ask about ninja rules. Haru explained but admitted he broke many rules because he wanted a normal life. That night, he even invited Karen to sleep over, knowing it was risky. At the same time, Taki watched them from afar without them noticing. Another day, Soichi and Yoko disguised themselves as Fuma clan members to learn their plans from Matsuura. With a threat, they got Matsuura to reveal that the Fuma clan's goal was related to an eclipse, which puzzled Soichi and the others. After sharing this, Jin drugged Matsuura. In the afternoon, Nagi went to the beach to remember her childhood with Gaku. Meanwhile, at home, Riku started ninja training with Taki. On the flip side, Gaku, who was thought to be dead, appeared disheveled and collapsed on the way back to the Tawara family's house. Once found, Gaku was quickly taken to the hospital and then cleaned up by the cleaning team. Jin contacted Soichi about Gaku's discovery. Gaku explained he got caught in a ship's propeller and was taken to the Fuma clan's place where there were lots of yellow flowers. The cleaning team was puzzled by Gaku's unexpected return and even suspected him of being a spy for the Fuma clan. Still, Jin and his team decided to bring Gaku home, bringing joy to the Tawara family despite Gaku now needing a prosthetic leg due to an injury 6 years ago. Amidst the family's happiness, Taki secretly had doubts about Gaku's return and checked the family scroll stored in a secret room. That night, Haru introduced Karen to Gaku, while Soichi and the others watched news about a governor's kidnapping. As for Sawabe, he was being watched by members of the Fuma clan, including the old woman who had pushed Karen earlier. Soon after, he reached out to Haru, expressing his desire for revenge against the Fuma clan. Sensing that Sawabe knew a lot about them, Haru asked him about the significance of the eclipse, which seemed to be the ninja clan's goal. Upon hearing this, Sawabe suggested they meet in Okinawa. Unbeknownst to them, Gaku overheard their conversation secretly. Later, while training with Haru, Gaku challenged his younger brother. But he couldn't hold back his tears, feeling guilty for sparing Yosuke's life, which led to him being targeted by the Fuma clan leader. The next day, Jin ordered Oki to bug Soichi's house to keep an eye on Gaku, who seemed suspicious. Meanwhile, Jin discussed the eclipse's meaning in the Fuma clan, which seemed linked to mass murder. To uncover Yosuke's plan, Jin sent Soichi and Yoko to the Fuma clan headquarters. Unfortunately, when Soichi and Yoko reached the location, they didn't find any yellow flowers that Yosuke had mentioned might be used for harming someone. Yoko remembered seeing a truck on their way to the headquarters, which probably carried the flowers. Back at home, Haru got ready for a mission from Jin. Before leaving, he had a chat with Karen. Unbeknownst to them, Oki had installed a listening device in their house, so he heard everything. That night, Gaku tried to get the family scroll from the secret room, but Taki had already taken it, suspecting a traitor in the house. Meanwhile, Haru snuck into a Fuma clan member's house to gather intel about their plans for the eclipse. After getting the information, he contacted Sawabe to meet at their agreed location. Meanwhile, Soichi and Yoko followed the flower truck to find where the new Fuma clan base was. Back at home, Nagi, who was still awake, heard Gaku leaving the house, so she got curious and decided to follow him. Surprisingly, Gaku encountered Sawabe on the way, and they got into a fight. Using his strong ninja skills, Gaku quickly defeated Sawabe. At that time, Nagi witnessed everything from a distance. Flashback to 6 years earlier, Gaku, who had survived an attack from Yosuke, woke up in an unfamiliar place with his right leg paralyzed from the fall into the sea. Recently, Yosuke appeared and congratulated Gaku for surviving. Gaku realized he was at the Fuma clan's base. That night, in the rain and still injured, Gaku tried to end his life with a kunai. Ayam intervened and Gaku, feeling desperate, pleaded for her to finish him off. The next morning, Yosuke took Gaku to the grave of a woman Gaku had been ordered to kill by the Ninja Management Bureau. There, Gaku confessed that he was just following orders, but Yosuke explained that the woman had been unjustly killed because she was involved in a romantic scandal with a political figure. Yosuke believed it was unfair for her to die just because she was in love. Because of this injustice, the Fuma clan rebelled against the ruler who used ninjas for their own gain. Gaku listened silently as Yosuke explained this and then left him alone. Later, Gaku was still thinking about what Yosuke had said, even while Ayam was playing with his kunai, a weapon passed down through generations. As night fell, the Fuma clan held a ceremony appointing Gaku as their representative, and he swore a blood oath as a sign of loyalty. In the present time, Haru didn't hear back from Sawabe, who was supposed to meet him. So, he decided to head home. But when he got there, he was surprised to find Karen, who everyone thought had left the house. Meanwhile, Riku seemed bored with Taki's repetitive exercises and wished she could learn more ninja techniques. Soon after, Haru came home and asked Riku about Karen's whereabouts. Riku said Karen had left in the morning. Worried, Haru tried to call Karen but found out Jean had her phone and knew she was hiding at the Tawara family's house. Without hesitation, Haru went to see Oki to ask about Karen, who was with the cleaning team. When Gaku got home, he knew Nagi had seen his fight with Sawabe. He lied to her, saying he wasn't part of the Fuma clan as she thought. Later, Gaku met Ayam and Yosuke, who were upset because the scroll they had was fake. Gaku promised to give them the real one if they agreed not to harm his family. At that time, Haru decided to take Oki hostage and bring him to Jean, demanding the immediate release of Karen from the Bureau of Ninja Management. He was willing to face any consequences, even death. Jean agreed to forgive Haru and Karen if Haru completed a mission, to kill Suzioka and promise not to see Karen again. With no other choice, Haru agreed, but he asked to see Karen one last time before starting the mission. Meanwhile, Soichi and Yoko were sneaking into Yosuke's factory, where the Fuma clan was making poison from yellow flowers. Back at home, while Taki and Riku were having dinner together, the Fuma clan suddenly attacked to steal the Tawara family scroll. They cut off the internet to prevent Taki from calling for help and began searching the house. Taki and Rika hid, and Taki activated a trap, paralyzing some of the attackers. Nagi also faced ninjas who entered her room. In a different part of the house, Taki fought against more ninjas until she couldn't handle it anymore. She used a smoke bomb to escape with Riku, but they were soon confronted by another group of Fuma clan members who demanded the Tawara family scroll. Just as they were about to attack again, Gaku intervened and suggested that Taki give them the scroll. Reluctantly, Taki handed over the scroll, feeling betrayed by Gaku, who had sided with the Fuma clan. Meanwhile, Haru returned home to find the house in chaos and asked what had happened. Meanwhile, Karen was still held captive by the cleaning team until Jean arrived and freed her. However, he made her promise to forget everything about Haru and his family. Then, he warned her not to go back home because the Fuma clan was still after her. On the other hand, Soichi and Yoko, who sneaked into the factory, saw Gaku giving the Tawara family scroll to Yosuke. Yoko couldn't believe her oldest son had joined the Fuma clan. Meanwhile, Taki and Riku went to Taki's friend's house for help against the Fuma clan. On the way, they noticed an old woman following them. Taki fought and defeated her. Meanwhile, Haru and his team got ready in their ninja gear to fight the Fuma clan. They stopped a truck carrying yellow flowers and immobilized the driver. But then, Fuma clan members jumped out of the truck, forcing Haru and the others to fight. Later, Nagi arrived at the poison factory and turned off the power to make it easier to attack. She found boxes full of dangerous yellow flower powder. Fuma clan members surrounded her, but luckily, Haru and his parents came to help. When Haru saw Gaku, he chased after him to ask why he joined the Fuma clan. During this moment, Gaku felt liberated after joining the Fuma clan because he no longer had to follow family or government rules from the Bureau of Ninja Management. He wanted to persuade Haru to join him, but Haru refused and asked Gaku to come back home together as they used to. Unfortunately, their disagreement led to a fight, and just when Gaku was about to defeat his younger brother, Haru managed to turn the tables and paralyze Gaku. Haru then entered a room filled with smoke where Yosuke was waiting. The smoke made it hard for Haru to see clearly, and it created illusions, making Yosuke appear as three people. Haru struggled against Yosuke's fast attacks in the mist. Meanwhile, Nagi, Soichi, and Yoko were struggling against the overwhelming number of Fuma clan members. Fortunately, another ninja from Taki's friend arrived to help. Soichi recognized the ninja as Mori, who worked as a sales manager at a sake factory. Back to Haru, he focused hard, using his hearing to anticipate Yosuke's moves. Haru's attack broke Yosuke's arm. Trying to distract Haru, Yosuke talked about an upcoming eclipse that would bring freedom to many in their country. He then tried to sneakily attack Haru with a kunai, but Haru saw through it and dodged, pointing his sword at Yosuke. Just as Haru was about to defeat Yosuke, Gaku intervened, completing Haru's mission by killing the Fuma clan leader. He then ordered Haru to become a ninja who doesn't kill people. The next day, Jin and Oki visited the Tawara family to congratulate them on stopping the Fuma clan's poison plot. Jin also asked about a shuriken found at the fight, knowing the Tawara family didn't use such weapons. Before leaving, Jin informed Haru that Gaku was now a wanted criminal, so the Tawara family would be watched closely to prevent them from helping Gaku secretly. Haru then asked Jin if he knew what eclipse meant in the Fuma clan's mission, but Jin didn't have an answer. Switch to Karen watching the news about 4 presidential candidates and their party members attending a meeting at Tokyo Hotel. Karen realized the meaning of eclipse in the Fuma clan's plan and rushed to the hotel. At the same time, a solar eclipse was happening in the Tokyo sky. At the hotel, Karen spotted Ayam preparing to poison the guests' drinks. At that moment, Karen tried to warn everyone, but no one believed her and security kicked her out. Shortly after, when the toast began, everyone drank the poisoned drinks and died instantly. Soon after, Jin and the cleaning team were shocked when they realized the true meaning of the eclipse in the Fuma clan's plan was to eliminate all presidential election candidates. Only one person, Mukai, survived. At that time, Taki felt a connection to Mukai's name when she saw the news. That evening, Mukai met with Gaku and Ayam to pay respects to Gaku, who had become the 20th leader of the Fuma clan. There, Gaku revealed that the scroll they took contained the genealogy of the Hojo clan, showing that Mukai was the last living descendant. Turns out, Gaku had known Mukai's true identity all along. Ayam reminded Mukai not to fight against the Fuma clan, which aimed to bring more freedom to their country. In the end, Riku returned to ninja training with Taki, while Haru finished his last job with Nozaki before joining Soichi's sake factory. Karen could only look at Haru's photo, as she had agreed not to see him again according to her deal with Jin. The film ends. The moral lesson from this film is never bring a kunai to a family reunion. Unless you want your sibling rivalry to turn into a ninja showdown, cause trust me, it's not a recipe for harmony.